Ellen DeGeneres is known for more than just her quick wit and contagious laughter. As one of television's most beloved talk show hosts, she has built a reputation for spreading kindness and generosity wherever she goes. From giving away cars to helping families in need, her heartwarming surprises have left countless people speechless. But beyond the bright lights of her studio and the carefully planned giveaways on her show, Ellen has a habit of making an impact in unexpected ways. Sometimes her kindness isn't part of a segment, it's just who she is. This story isn't one of those moments caught on a stage, with an audience cheering in the background. It's something far more personal. It happened in a quiet little restaurant, on an ordinary day, to a waitress who never imagined her life was about to change forever. That morning, the waitress woke up thinking it would be just another long shift, filled with endless orders, tired smiles, and the usual hustle of waiting tables. She had no idea that one of her customers was about to leave a tip that would not only change her life, but start a chain reaction even bigger than she could ever imagine. What began as a simple meal turned into a moment of generosity so powerful that it sent ripples far beyond the walls of the restaurant. But the biggest surprise wasn't the money itself, it was what happened next. For most people, dining out is a simple pleasure, a chance to enjoy good food and relax, but for servers like Lisa Thompson, the reality behind the scenes is much different. Lisa was a hard-working waitress at a small family-owned restaurant just outside Los Angeles. She had been working there for nearly 5 years, juggling long shifts to make ends meet. Life hadn't been easy for her. Between paying rent, covering medical bills for her mother, and saving for her younger brother's college fund, she barely had time to think about herself. Every day she showed up with a smile, even when exhaustion weighed her down. She had learned to push through rude customers, aching feet, and the unpredictability of tips, some days generous, other days barely enough to buy groceries. But despite the hardships, Lisa never let her struggles show. She believed in treating every customer with kindness, no matter what. That morning, as she tied her apron and stepped onto the restaurant floor, she had no idea someone very special was about to walk in. To her it was just another day, serving food, taking orders, and hoping for a decent tip or two. What Lisa didn't know was that someone had already noticed her hard work from afar, and that person wasn't just any customer. It was Ellen DeGeneres, disguised as an ordinary diner. At that moment, Lisa had no clue that her life was about to change in the most unexpected way. The lunch rush had just begun when Lisa noticed a new customer walk into the restaurant. The woman wore a simple hoodie, sunglasses, and a baseball cap pulled low over her face. She sat alone at a small booth near the window, quietly looking over the menu. To Lisa she was just another guest, another meal, another check, another table to clear. She approached with her usual warm smile, and greeted the woman. "Hi there, welcome in. Can I get you started with something to drink?" The woman smiled back, her voice calm and familiar, though Lisa couldn't quite place it. "Just water please," she said. Lisa nodded and went about her work, checking on other tables while making sure the new guest had everything she needed. The woman kept her head down, speaking only when necessary, never drawing attention to herself. As the meal went on, Lisa noticed something unusual. The woman was watching her, observing as if she were studying Lisa's every move. It wasn't in a creepy way, but in a way that felt intentional. Almost like she was waiting for something. Still, Lisa didn't think much of it. She had no idea that Ellen DeGeneres, one of the most famous faces in the world, was sitting right in front of her, carefully taking in every detail of her kindness and hard work. Ellen finished her meal, and signaled for the check. Lisa handed it over with her usual cheerful energy, still unaware of who she was really serving. "Take your time," she said. "No rush at all," Ellen simply smiled. "Thank you for being so kind," she said softly. Lisa thought nothing of it. To her, being kind was just part of the job. But she had no idea that this simple interaction was about to turn into a moment she would never forget. Lisa returned to the table a few minutes later, ready to collect the check. As she reached for it, she noticed something unusual. The woman had already left, but sitting neatly on top of the receipt was a small stack of crisp bills. At first, Lisa assumed it was a generous tip, maybe $50, or if she was really lucky, $100. But as she picked up the money, her hands started to tremble. 50, 100, 500. 1,000, the bills kept going. Her heart pounded as she quickly flipped through them. There were $50,000 sitting in front of her. Lisa's breath caught in her throat. Her eyes darted around the restaurant, searching for the woman, but she was gone. She could barely process what was happening. Was this a mistake? Was she dreaming? Her co-workers gathered around, their voices rising in shock as they saw the stack of money in her hands. Customers turned their heads, whispering in confusion. Tears welled up in Lisa's eyes. She wasn't used to receiving more than a few extra dollars in tips, let alone an amount that could completely change her life. "Is this real?" she whispered, her voice shaky. One of her co-workers, a fellow waitress named Jenna, let out a stunned laugh. "Lisa, that's $50,000. Someone just left you $50,000. Lisa felt overwhelmed. Gratitude, disbelief, confusion, it all hit her at once. Why would someone do this? Why her? She had spent years working tirelessly, never expecting a miracle like this to come her way. She clutched the money to her chest, tears spilling down her face. Whoever that woman was, she had just done something unimaginable. But what Lisa didn't know was that this wasn't the end of the surprise. It was only the beginning. Lisa was still frozen in shock, holding the money as her co-workers surrounded her, trying to make sense of what had just happened. Whispers filled the restaurant, customers leaned in, waiters exchanged glances, and even the manager came rushing over, his face filled with disbelief. Then, a voice broke through the noise. "Lisa," she turned toward the entrance, her eyes widening as she saw the same woman who had left the tip walking back in. But this time, something was different. The sunglasses were off, the baseball cap was gone. And in that moment, Lisa's breath caught in her throat. It was Ellen DeGeneres. Gasps rippled through the restaurant, as people recognized her. A few customers pulled out their phones, capturing the unbelievable moment. Lisa's hands flew to her mouth, her tears coming faster now. She had just been tipped $50,000 by one of the most famous people in the world. "I don't understand," Lisa stammered, her voice trembling. Ellen smiled, her signature warmth shining through. "I wanted to see how amazing you are for myself," she said. "And you are even more incredible than I imagined." Lisa's knees nearly buckled. This couldn't be real. Ellen DeGeneres, the Ellen DeGeneres, had been sitting in her restaurant, watching her, and now, she was standing right in front of her. At that moment, Lisa noticed something else. A small camera crew had entered behind Ellen. It turned out that this moment had been filmed all along. Ellen had arranged for hidden cameras to capture everything, from the way Lisa treated her customers to the moment she found the tip. Lisa covered her face, overwhelmed. "Oh my God," she whispered, "this is crazy." Ellen laughed. "It's crazy in the best way," she said, "and guess what? There's still more." Lisa could barely process those words. More? The restaurant fell silent, everyone waiting, holding their breath, because if Ellen DeGeneres was involved, this was only the beginning. Lisa was still trying to catch her breath when Ellen reached into her pocket and pulled out a small envelope. She handed it to Lisa with a knowing smile. "Go ahead," Ellen encouraged. "Open it." Lisa's fingers trembled as she tore open the envelope, revealing a neatly folded piece of paper inside. As her eyes scanned the words, she gasped. It was a check for another $50,000. Her legs nearly gave out. "No, this isn't real," she stammered, shaking her head in disbelief. Ellen chuckled. "Oh, it's very real. That first tip was just to say thank you for being such a hard-working, kind person. But this," she gestured to the check. "This is to help you build the life you deserve." Tears streamed down Lisa's face, as the reality of the moment sank in. $100,000. In an instant her life had changed, but Ellen wasn't done. "I heard a little bit about your story," Ellen continued. "About how you've been supporting your family, working extra shifts, and still managing to be a bright light for everyone around you. That's why I wanted to do something even bigger." Lisa could barely speak. She covered her mouth, shaking as her coworkers and customers wiped away their own tears, watching this incredible moment unfold. Ellen gestured toward the camera crew. I wanted to share your story with the world, because people like you deserve to be celebrated. You inspire people without even knowing it. And because of that." Ellen paused for dramatic effect, then grinned. "A few of my friends wanted to help too." Before Lisa could ask what that meant, the restaurant doors swung open again, and in walked representatives from several big companies, holding even more surprises. Lisa's jaw dropped. The moment wasn't just life-changing, it was history in the making, and the best part. The surprises weren't over yet. Lisa stood frozen as the group of company representatives approached her, each carrying an envelope, a gift, or a promise of something even bigger. The restaurant had fallen completely silent. Every customer, every coworker, every person in the room was watching a real-life miracle unfold. One by one, the surprises were revealed. A representative from a well-known bank stepped forward first. "Lisa, we heard about your story, and your dedication to your family. To help secure your future, we'd like to pay off any outstanding debts you have." Lisa's hands flew to her mouth as another representative, this time from a local university, took her hand. "And if you've ever dreamed of continuing your education, we'd love to offer you a full scholarship." The restaurant erupted into cheers. Lisa was sobbing openly now, unable to process how her life had changed in just a few minutes. But the final surprise came from Ellen herself. She took Lisa's hand, squeezing it gently. "I know you've spent your life taking care of others," she said. "Now it's time for someone to take care of you." Ellen turned to the camera. Lisa's story is a reminder that kindness never goes unnoticed. So for everyone watching, take a moment to appreciate the people around you. A simple act of kindness can change a life. The video of Lisa's reaction quickly went viral. Within hours of airing on Ellen's show, millions of people had seen her story. Strangers from all over the world reached out, offering support, encouragement, and even donations. And the best part? Lisa's story didn't just change her own life, it inspired a movement. Other waitresses, struggling single parents, hard-working individuals everywhere, began receiving unexpected acts of generosity from people inspired by what they saw. Lisa's life was no longer about just making ends meet. She had gone from barely getting by to being a symbol of hope, kindness, and the power of unexpected generosity. And it all started with a simple act: one meal, one waitress, and one woman who believed in the magic of giving.